Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another session of Coffee with Conscious Coaches. As usual, we'll pull out a card from Dr. Shefali's messages. She's got a stack of cards where she's given us beautiful messages for conscious parenting specifically. So we'll be pulling out a card. Before we do that, I'll introduce myself. My name is Poonam. I'm a certified conscious parenting coach, and I'm founder of Possibilities Redefined.
Hi, everyone, and I'm Anna. Sorry, I'm getting ready here still. I'm a doula, a prenatal educator, and a conscious parenting coach.
Hi, everyone, and I'm Fatima, and I'm a Montessori educator, and I am a conscious parenting coach, and we're so happy to be here today with you all, shedding some light, shedding some skin, and just in this journey of awakening.
Yeah, I have to say I love these cards. They're such good introspective nuggets. So I'm always excited to shuffle them and pick one. Let's see what color we'll pull today. Okay, we've got some blue. In all sorts of ways, if you are willing, your children will take you to places in your heart you never knew existed.
Wow.
Yeah, so let's see, in what ways do children take us in our hearts in places we never knew existed? Well, I can say, I think one that we all share is the moment we have our children, right? When we birth our children, it's such a profound, deep feeling of, it's hard to even name it, of love. Like we know love to be so different before our children are born, right? So for me, I also have to share this in my years of working as a doula, as a birth coach, to be invited in somebody's space in this magical moment has been the greatest gift of my life. It is so special to be a stranger and witness the coming to life of a new human that I've always been grateful to my clients, because those were the moments that pulled out the best in me. I always felt like I was on my best behavior when going to a birth, right? I was so conscious to be attuned to their needs, to not interfere, to not steal the light, to just support and nurture that space. So I can definitely relate to that. When my son was born, he's taken me to a place in my heart where I never knew it existed, this profound love that asks to be discovered, right? It's not just free love, or at least that's not how it felt for me. It just like touched a chord where I had to sit and question what I knew about love, what I knew about being present, what I knew about being curious about somebody and their life. So yes, it's a very magical exploration of the self. And it brings to light the less talked about part of life, right? These existential questions that maybe not everybody thinks about. So that was my gift, and my entire journey started from that.
And the way you were explaining it, Anna, it sounded to me very meditative, because in that moment you were present in that moment, not thinking about anything else, not thinking about your personal life, not thinking about what you're cooking that night. You were there in that moment, supporting someone. And this is a very, to me, a very divine experience, where you create a beautiful memory for the mother as well, and for her to explore and learn and go to places in her heart that she had never experienced before, because you created that safe space for them, So when you were talking about it, to me, it was like very meditative, and a very blessed presence in someone else's life. So that gift of giving, there's no better gift to give, I think, than where you hold a space where people can just explore themselves and not be judged, and just be themselves, and it's a beautiful event in someone's life.
Yeah, and now looking back, I think the most beautiful thing of it all is that I wasn't aware of any of this. It was before any of this language came to me. I didn't know much about meditation or inner self or a way to be introspective this way. And that's the magic of life. Like sometimes we do it and we don't even know we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is important to share with the audience, because in this era of information, we tend to get stuck on like, I want to know, and how do you do it, and but how? And sometimes you just let time be and you look back and you realize once you learn about certain things that you've already been doing them. You just didn't know you were doing them. And that was the best gift from working as a doula. I didn't even know what it would bring to me. But just the role of being a doula is a role of being supportive, and being of help. And when we're supportive and being of help to anyone, whether it's our children or our clients, we do go into this space of being meditative and mindful, and open a safe space for people to be, right? Non-judgmentally and all of that.
True.
Yeah.
Especially the way the card says, like if you let them, they'll help you explore places in your heart that you've never visited. I think it relates to our need for control and our need for making our children who we think they should be.
Mm-hmm.
That stops you from exploring the beautiful journey of parenthood, because you're not in an interaction with your child from a place of curiosity. You are in an interaction where you are forcing things and you already have an expectation. And we all know, like, and I don't know, it's a very deep thing, for our audience. I think as they keep going on this journey with us, they'll start understanding our language, and I'm sure some of them already do. But that resistance to accepting our children for who they are actually is a projection of who we are. And because we keep projecting, we are not exploring all of us. We are only focused on a part of us. But as soon as we start observing ourselves and start learning from our children from a place of curiosity, they will help us explore us and find those beautiful parts that are sort of deep down under the layers of what we've learned from the outside world. So that's how I see it. And it's so beautiful if we give them that opportunity.
It's almost like two worlds. Fatih, I want to hear what you have to say, but I just wanted to share. To me, it seems like it's two different worlds. There's the world of control, which is fed from anxiety, right? We all come with anxiety in our unconsciousness. And when that anxiety hits, if we don't bring it into consciousness to sit with it and accept it and let it be, not engage in it, then we engage in it automatically. And then judgment comes up. And when judgment comes up, we need to pick one side or the other, or fix the situation, or make something so that the anxiety goes away. And this is how we make it about ourselves and not our children. Well, when we cultivate consciousness, and our children show us this, right? They're in the present. They don't judge, they just do. they break a glass, then they're like, huh? They're just curious. They don't know that that's bad. We put that filter on them. So they really invite us to search and bring up this other world, this second world that's non-judgmental, that can sit with things, that can just let things be and not just want good and happy all the time. And so overall, that was the gift that I got from raising my child alongside working and developing as a doula. And very, very grateful to all my clients and my kid for it too. Yeah.
Well, I have not had a child, but I've worked with so many. I've grown up with many babies in my household, which allowed me to experience part of it, as well as I've taught many kids. So you get a glimpse of the feeling, but I don't think one could understand it entirely as a whole. But I would think is that we're a vessel, and a child is a gift given to us through us. Does not belong to us. So I think in that process, we learn that through our children, we are offered the portal of the mirror to our unconscious self. And so as we experience, it's something that's wholesome, fulfilling, but as we experience this gift that we are given, there's so much that I think it's a feeling that one cannot put into words. You experience it, but you feel that sense of love towards it. But at the same time, they teach you that this is the gift and it's not yours. It does not belong to you.
Yeah.
They're just here to teach you. And that goes to, they're here to teach you about lessons in your life and things about yourself. So in that process, as you learn to love them, you begin to love yourself. And that's how I would see it.
Yeah, you're very right, actually, because, whatever we are trying to control in them is unhealed part of ourselves. And that's why we are trying to control it. If we feel whole and complete in ourselves, then we wouldn't want to control anything. We would trust the universe for how things are panning out. So you rightly said, they are the mirrors. They reflect back to us what we haven't healed yet. But because we are so unconscious, we don't realize that the way we respond or react to our children is a learned behavior from our past experiences. We are not observing what we are doing, and that's why we don't visit those parts that Dr. Shefali is mentioning in this quote, the parts that can love more, the parts that can be neutral, the parts where you don't have to decide whether something is bad or good, it just is.
Mm-hmm.
And the acceptance of that isness of things without labeling right, wrong, good, bad, beautiful, ugly, all of that, because we've learned it from here.
And I would think as parents would like to think that our love is, a lot of parents, well, I've heard say that their love is unconditional.
Yes.
But when you actually look at it, you're like, is your love actually unconditional? Because love that's unconditional sees the person, the child, as their authentic self, or who it is they are.
Yeah.
Then is our love conditional when we look at the child and we put our expectations on them, we project on them? So would we still be able to stand there and say it's unconditional when we look at the child and we're like, do not act like this, do not be like this, always saying how they should be, how they should act, what we want them to be?
Yeah, like, some mothers say, see, again, you've made mom unhappy.
Yeah.
It is such a big burden for the child because they understand that it's their responsibility to keep you happy. So,
Mhm.
and because they're dependent on you for their needs and nurturing and connection and love, they make every effort to please you so you're not unhappy. How big of a burden is that? Like, it makes my heart sink when I think of these things and when I see parents do that. And
Mhm.
I don't blame the parents, because this is what they've known, and it's a subconscious behavior. They've learned it from their parents, and their parents have learned it from their parents. So it's, I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, but I'm just trying to show that if you start observing yourself, and if you know what is the effect of what you're doing on your child's psyche, you would start changing the way you are nurturing and showing your love. I'm sure every parent loves their children, and everyone's doing a great job, but it's the things that they're not aware of.
And we all
Mhm.
do it, right?
Yeah.
We're all unconscious. We all do this. This is by default where humanity is. But listening to Fatih, it's actually our children love us unconditionally.
Yes.
Sometimes we're mad at them. Sometimes we yell. Sometimes we threaten. Sometimes we, don't tell them we're
Punish.
leaving, and then they don't know where we're going or when we're coming back. We're in all these different moods, and all of our moods we project on them, but they actually just sit there and take it all in. They accept all of these parts of us, especially the younger kids, right? Once they get to teenage years, then their ego starts to protect them, and then they put barriers. But the younger kids just sit there and they take angry mommy in, they take lovely mommy in, they take, threatening mommy in, all of the mommies in. So this is another gift that we can learn. Let's sit like they do, with those big curious eyes where they're like scared or happy, and they just sit there presently. Another thing that I got from what Fatih was saying is basically that nothing is ours. And children, again, show us this on a daily basis. Even when they want a toy and they're like, mine, 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 they play with it for 5 minutes, then they move on to that toy doesn't exist anymore. And it won't exist the same way again, even if they play tomorrow, right? So nothing is ours. We need to really learn to sit with things and let them come in, give us an experience, and then move out. Come in and move out, and on and on and on, so that we can live life instead of, hold on to life or take life for ourselves. And all of this are gifts that our kids give us for, a good 10 years of their lives. The first 6 to 10 years, you can sit and observe your child and learn, right? Unlearn what you've learned and learn to live like they do. And it doesn't have to be a full-time job at all. You don't have to stop. We're not stopping our lives, but to take in little moments and allow their power to have an effect on us. It'll then show up for themselves. And this is how kids have good self-esteem and a healthy, grounded place in the world, when we mirror that who they are is okay, that they don't need to be something else, that all of their moods are accepted, right? And we just work through and we learn little things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that they teach us is to live in the moment, like you said. And I was just thinking, I will end this conversation with Khalil Gibran's poem on children. So your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. So if people are interested, they can go and read the rest of the poem, but this is the gist. And like Fatih said, they don't belong to us. And similarly, we all don't belong to anyone. We are individuals who are complete, whole in ourselves. And if we start looking at ourselves like that, we would initiate the self-love that we lack. And once we start loving ourselves, we'll be able to love our children for who they are. Thank
Yeah.
you very much for joining us, everyone.
Thank
Do subscribe to our channel, Coffee with Conscious Coaches on YouTube. And we bring out a new video every Tuesday afternoon. And we look forward to meeting you next week.
Have a great
Thank
week,
you.
everyone. Thank you.